Water and sand. It's found almost everywhere in the world. Usually, these words spark images of fun in the sun, hanging out at the beach, fishing by your favorite river, and throwing a huge bucket of water over your little brother's sandcastle, calling it a tidal wave, are all great ways to utilize these rather common materials for your own personal enjoyment. But can there be too much of a good thing? After all, mixing water and sand in just the right amounts can actually produce something quite sinister. You know what I'm talking about, Brainiacs. It's that nasty, messy mixture that we've seen in countless movies, known to swallow humans whole, especially if they try to escape. One false step, and you're up to your neck in this muddy menace. Today, Brainiacs, we're talking quicksand, to see if there really is any truth to Hollywood's portrayal of it, and, of course, ways to deal with this stuff if you find yourself in it. We got you, Brainiacs, so sit tight, try to relax, and let us fill in this sinkhole of knowledge and tell you everything there is to know about surviving quicksand. First off, where in the world is quicksand found? Geologists say that it can actually appear anywhere rising water pushes grains of sand from up off the ground. The trick is, these grains must become so saturated that they sort of just float around in a watery, sandy solution. And when something enters the water, the grains of sand are pushed laterally out of the way. And then, you sink. In essence, you are walking into a kind of muddy water, and we all know what happens when you try and walk on water. Common places for this to happen are slow-moving rivers that meet sandy banks, or underground springs that flow right beneath a sandy surface. Earthquakes are a great way to shuffle water and sand around, and they are absolutely one of the more common ways quicksand is formed. So basically, this stuff isn't limited to the jungles or out in the desert near an oasis. We'd say if there's sand and water, and when these conditions are right, quicksand can occur anywhere. So, now you're officially freaked out, right? And let me guess, it's because you believe this nasty quicksand stuff just swallows you whole, like in the movies. Well, chill out, my friend, because it's time to let you in on a little secret. Life isn't like what you see on the screen. I know. It's hard to believe that every single car that gets in an accident doesn't explode in a giant fireball. But look, better you learn this now than later. And frankly, quicksand has gotten a really bad name. We'd say mistakenly so. Quicksand actually isn't that hard to escape from, contrary to what you may have heard. First of all, it's rather easy to float in. Humans have a density of about 62.5 pounds per cubic foot, and we float pretty darn well in water. But get this. Quicksand has a higher density than water, clocking in at a density of 125 pounds per cubic foot. That means you will actually float more easily in quicksand than water. Take that, Hollywood! The truth of the matter is, if you can remain calm, that means not flailing your arms and legs around. You shouldn't continuously sink forever. You'll just float to the top. The key to surviving in quicksand is slow movements. Flinging your limbs will push the muddy mixture out of the way, and it will indeed sink you further in. But pull you down forever? We don't think so. And as for what being stuck in quicksand feels like, well, the further down you get, the more it would feel like wet concrete. So basically, you'd be able to move, but it just wouldn't be easy. But even if you did flail around like a maniac, most instances of quicksand are only a few feet deep. Not really anything to write home about. And if you did manage to find yourself waist deep in quicksand, you'd most likely still be okay. As long as you remember to relax and float on your back, you'll be fine. The problems with quicksand are the same problems you would have with water. If you can't get your head up to breathe, well, you're in trouble. So just pretend like you're lying down in the snow, making a snow angel. That should relax you. The best thing to do is call out to nearby people to throw you something to hold on to, and then have them pull you out. Or, as long as you take your time, slowly swim on your back to the bank, out of the sand. Again, it's a lot like floating on water. We know you can do it. So, what can we gather from this? Well, we'd say that once again, hard facts beat urban legends any day. Quicksand does not appear randomly throughout the world, nor is it out to get you, and for sure it is by no means impossible to escape from. Movies may have given you the wrong impression, but don't worry, we're here to set them straight. We'd say the best thing to do is to practice your swimming, and especially your floating, because frankly, you won't always have your flamingo inner tube nearby. Later days, Brainiacs!